I gotta wear glasses. Like I wish I didn't have to,
Yeah.
but I got to.
Yeah.
So
Which the weird thing is I've worn glasses since I was like 8 years old.
yeah, I've worn glasses since I was
I think I really didn't need them.
young. You didn't need them when you were younger. I needed them.
Like if you're wearing glasses at 8 years old, how can you explain being way older than 8 and still being able to see without glasses? Did I really
Maybe
need glasses at 8 years old?
Are you in denial?
I think I just really couldn't read.
Is your vision blurry?
When I was younger, I would read the same line over and over.
You talking about at the dentist?
No,
At the,
in school.
Oh, in school.
So I would get to the end of the line, and then I
You
could
would go
never
back.
find my way to the next line down. Instead of somebody teaching me to finger follow,
You needed glasses.
I think I just needed to finger follow.
Need the finger.
If I had finger followed, pause, then I would have known
That's a pause.
where to go from there, maybe.
That's a pause. Finger.
I mean, hey, you never know what can happen with a finger.
Hey, Ghostface says that we need to end pause.
Really?
Yeah, he said we need to end it. He was on the Joe and Jada podcast.
Yeah.
He said people who always use the word pause got freaky minds. He said,
okay.
He said, so
everybody's mind is a little warped.
He said, y'all got freaky minds. And so he said, y'all just need to end the pause. He's like, y'all know what we talking about? Like, and they were like, what you talking about eating salads and stuff, tossing salads and stuff. He was like, you know what I'm talking about. He was like, that was never a thing until somebody made it up. He's like, what does tossing salad got to do with that? Like, we talking about actual salad, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Right.
And he said, y'all mind's too freaky because you got to pause everything. We know, but Dame Dash is the king of everything is a pause.
He paused, yeah.
Him and Charlamagne are the kings.
He real heavy on pause. Yeah.
Son, it could be anything.
Yeah. But, somebody said to me, or I hear people saying, I don't know if anybody's actually said it directly to me, but I hear people saying, oh, grow up. Like that's an immature thing to be like finding stuff that's pausable. They're like, and I said, to me, I'm gonna make it work for me. And I was like, when you lived as much life as I've lived, you learn not to take everything so seriously.
Everything's pausable, right?
So because, you don't have to take everything so seriously, pause your life away, man.
Pause your life away. Pause.
Pause and pause it then.
Pause, son.
Yeah.
That's what the...
But people be like, don't be doing. Hey, relax, baby. This all could end tomorrow, so pause it all day today, okay? Just get your pause off.
Yeah, but it was a skit that was in his new album talking about pause. Yeah, he did a whole skit on his new The Supreme Clientele 2.
Supreme Clientele,
talking about pause.
A great
y'all
name.
Stop, y'all got freaky minds.
Yeah. I need to check that out.
It was a pretty good album. Pretty dope. How was your week?
Is it boom pap?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
It's
I might be able to tolerate some boom pap a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my week flew by.
Mm-hmm.
Flew by. I was like, it's Friday. That is insane. I don't know if it was just me, but the weather was amazing all week, and fall is my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
And
but how was the anniversary though?
Anniversary was dope. We went to Nashville.
That's dope.
It was good. It was a good time. 20 years.
20 years in, baby.
Yeah, 20 years in. Which was also cool too, because the day of our anniversary is also the 5-year anniversary of the EP that was dropped by 112.
Mm-hmm.
Where the EP had 9 songs and I wrote 8 of them.
Right. You might as well say you wrote the whole album.
But so that's cool that actually annualizes on my anniversary. It's apropos, but yeah, so it was cool. It was a good time.
That's dope. I hit Mike up and I was like, hey, he got that venue.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we need to do a music mixer
at the venue.
Yeah,
that would be dope.
At your spot. He was like, "Yo, that'll be super dope."
Mm-hmm.
So I need you to put it like a bug in his.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, did B talk to you about the mixing joint?" He was like, "Yeah." He gonna be like, "Yeah, he did. Like, I thought it was super dope." You need to be like, "Yeah, we need to do that.
Yeah, let's run it back.
We need to run that back."
True. Yeah, actually, we need to so that we can say the name of that venue. Go ahead and get them as a paid sponsor.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
This first segment is brought to you by.
Exactly. We need to do that.
A place that we're not going to name.
Place we're not going to name until they until they that would be a dope partnership. That'd be a dope partnership where we could do like a monthly music mixer hosted by the Unplugged and the name of this establishment.
Yes.
As a partnership.
I think you just said something right there. And I think we just put that together.
I told him. I sent him a text. I ain't called him. I sent him a text. I was like, yo, we should do this. Yeah. He was like, yo, that sounds dope.
Be fire.
I'm like, bro, we could easily get 50 plus.
Oh, yeah.
Easy, bro. Like,
oh, yeah.
He was like, yo, we just did a mixer for one of his homies, and they got 75 plus. I was like,
there you go.
Easy. Yeah. So we need to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I haven't been to that place yet. I got to check it out.
I did. I went. So on the night that we have Wind Down Wednesday, they do a karaoke.
Oh.
And so after Wind Down Wednesday, I went over there. Yeah. And it's literally almost right around the corner.
Yeah, okay.
So I just drove over there. And that's so dope. My man Hershey was in there, DJ Hershey. He's part of the crew that does the karaoke.
Okay.
So I did say karaoke. That's what they do. Yeah. So he's a part of the crew that does the karaoke. So I saw him. Hadn't seen him in a while. And then of course when I got there, Mike was there. So, but yeah, partner. We need to. We gotta do that. Happen. We got to make that happen.
That's a great look.
Yeah.
Be a great look for the culture.
Great look for the culture, bro. It's crazy. Sure. It was crazy. My week was good. Today, I ain't gonna name who it was, but I like perusing. When I think about topics and stuff that we're gonna talk about, I go peruse and see what's buzzing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always one place I always go to. Not gonna name the name because what I'm about to say is gonna be crazy. Y'all probably know if y'all watch it. So there was an episode that came out today. I was like, cool, let me go see what's good with the episode. Man, the comments was tearing them up.
Oh, yeah?
Tearing them up. So applause to the technical producer sitting over there to make sure that we got stuff on lock from an audio perspective, you know what I'm saying? Because, they were tearing them up about the audio.
Oh.
They was like, y'all show is dope, but the audio sucks.
Wow.
The quality is horrible.
Wow.
Y'all need to get that together. Like, whoever y'all got over there running y'all stuff, trash.
Wow.
I was like, damn. I said, all right, let's make sure our audio is good, bro. I was like, yo.
So they ain't talking to me.
We're going to make sure our audio is nice and crispy. And good. We look crispy and everything. Yeah. I was like, dang. Wow. But, man, let's get into it, brother.
Yeah.
Talk about this, couple of topics, right? So the first one, I saw recently Lizzo went live on TikTok, kind of talk. Well, I'll just read because, y'all know I provide a whole topic overview, right? So in a recent TikTok, Lizzo opened up about the frustrating truth that many artists, especially independents, are quietly battling. The algorithm is deciding what succeeds, not the music itself. She explained that songs are no longer going viral based solely on their quality, message, or connection with fans. Instead, they rise or fall based on how the algorithm ranks engagement, repetition, trendability, virality, regardless of the artistic value. This insight echoes that many indie artists have felt for a long, long time. You can pour your heart and soul into a track and still get buried in the algorithm if the algorithm doesn't approve your track or doesn't gain any momentum. And so I just thought it was dope that Lizzo, who's a multi-Grammy award winning, multi-platinum artist, is facing the same challenges that we as independents face. And it's crazy because I personally think there's truth to that the algorithm is like the new gatekeeper. The algorithm determines what music is pushed, who sees it, how often they see it, if it goes viral, if there's trendability around it, if it gets noticed. All right, they got that thing is like, we'll push it out to 10 people And then if 10 people engage with it, we'll push it out to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Then if 100 engage with it, we'll push it out more and more. But if 10 people only see it and they never really, it's probably going to stop right at that moment. And it may not go any further than that.
So when I heard her make the statement, it felt like it was like a Captain Obvious type thing. It was kind of like she was saying maybe this is her first time experiencing it, but those of us, any artists, marketing and consulting individuals, we know that this is kind of how the infrastructure has been set up for the last several years. So for her to be saying, oh man, this is how it is now, I kind of was like, what are you talking about? That's how it's been. Not only that, but it was weird to hear it from her because she signed to a label. So the reality is, the true reality is, at the end of the day, that's why you got audio of what's his name? Thug saying Gunna thinks that he had the #1 album his release week, but I paid $55,000 for to make sure that it basically had the streams it needed to be #1 for that week. I mean, for a signed artist to say something about the algorithm, labels still control the algorithm when they want to, because ultimately at the end of the day, the algorithm is controlled by the dollar. Dollars control the algorithm. If you have enough money, in this case, very specifically $55,000, you could have had the #1 album. If you had $56,000, you could have had the #1 album that week.
Right.
So for her to be saying, oh, it only works if this and that, that's someone else's reality. It's generally not the reality of a signed artist. Now, if her label didn't put that kind of bread up, assuming that based on her individual engagement numbers, kind of like you said, if they put 20,000 on it, the way her fans engage with things, it would grow organically beyond them, planting the bioengineered seed, so to speak. And maybe that didn't happen. Right? Because even if Thug paid whatever amount of money to ensure that more streams went into Gunna's project, certainly his project did organically have people who like Gunna, who listen to Gunna, who went and listened to
the album.
Right. So in a case where Lizzo didn't get what she thought she was going to get, maybe they put the money in, but it wasn't. I always say you need money to get in, but you need quality to stay in. And maybe this is her way of saying she didn't hit the number she wanted to hit, but it might have been because the music didn't hit.
It could be.
Maybe the label did spend the right amount of money, but if the music didn't resonate.
Is she still signed?
I thought she was. I hadn't heard her out here doing the independent declaration.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. See, because I'm thinking that
but that's even funnier if she's not, because that means welcome to the reality of the rest of us.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, is she making this statement because she's now looking at it from an independent space and she's realizing that these are the things that are barriers to exposure for independent music creators?
She is signed to Atlantic. She is signed to Atlantic and their imprint, Nice Life Recording.
So then does that mean that her imprint, her label, did not put up enough money to trigger the algorithm to send her album out into the masses? Because she mentioned in there, Justin Bieber, Lady Gaga, and all these other people. She said outside of Beyonce, she said all these other people dropped albums, but a lot of times you don't even know that they dropped an album. Now, if you're a fan of these individuals, you're probably going to know that they dropped an album. But will the masses of people know?
And that's where the money's got to be spent.
Exactly.
So, for example, if you're Bieber, or, because I think I even talked about on the pod the fact that Bieber had dropped the album. He gave like literally 48 hours notice that he was dropping one. The thing becomes, there's probably a lot of people who still haven't heard it beyond the Yukon single, which is getting a lot of radio push. A lot.
Actually, I haven't even heard.
Yeah,
Swag.
if you listen
Swag
to
Swag too, right?
He dropped Swag and Swag too.
I haven't even listened to either one yet.
So just depending on where you sit algorithmically,
right,
dictates whether or not that would even reach you, even though you may be, I guess fan isn't the right word, but you actually enjoy his music. So I know this project that Lizzo dropped, I haven't heard the whole project, but I know there's a lot of rapping on the project. I know a lot of people love Lizzo's songs. So maybe them songs just didn't.
And that could be.
And so
that could be the case.
Because I actually have only heard pieces of the songs. I haven't heard like it in its entirety. But I think that that's, again, you pay the price for admission, but then once you get in, the work has to be, you got to put in some sweat equity at that point. Absolutely. So if the music is banging, then it'll push through, unless the label says, back the truck up again and let's dump some more money into it on the other side, which they have done for some acts. Maybe they didn't feel like they needed to do that for Lizzo, though.
Because she mentioned that now she's going to the avenue of building her own community, so that you can. And I think that's something that people are seeing anyway, is the fact that you can't always rely on platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, which we'll get into that, and all of these other things to put your music in front of the people that it needs to be in front of.
Yeah.
You got to start, as independents, you got to start really thinking about, how can I go directly to my
audience,
my supporters in a different way, whether it's through Patreon, a Substack, some type of platform where you can get people to have a membership.
Yeah.
Right. Give them exclusive content, new music, whatever the case, and build that platform so that you don't have to rely on all these other methods to get your music in front of the masses. This is a classic. I think the progenitor of this whole thing was Ryan Leslie, right? I mean, he had the whole Superphone, and he still has Superphone, right? And still, you could go to his site or to the app, put your information in, and get information directly from.
That's why I say what she was saying was a Captain Obvious moment to me. It was like, welcome to the party. Like, it was like she just
found out.
And then, salute to her to feeling like she had information that she needed to share with other people. Like, maybe they didn't know it, but a lot of times those artists who you are truly fans of, like, I go to concerts sometimes at Center Stage or Vinyl, and these are acts I never heard of, and there's 50 to 75 people in the room, and I'm thinking to myself, how the hell do these people even know who this artist is, or that they were even performing?
Yeah.
And so clearly that artist has the attention of those individuals. That is their core audience. So when you start talking about whether something goes viral and you start talking about algorithm, you're talking about things that are outside of your fan base. That's not, algorithm is not driven by a fan. It's driven by somebody who likes something in the moment. They're not a fan of you necessarily, but a fan of whatever that sonic moment is. So she's really talking about two different things. Sure, you can build a community, but I bet she probably already has a pretty entrenched community anyway. But if she's looking at charts expecting to see certain numbers, then yeah, that's going to be based on people outside of your true fan base. And one of the things from the marketing standpoint, I always have a really tough time with artists is them accepting the fact that independent artists accept the fact that you're probably not the only artist who makes the kind of music that you make. And there is strength in community.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to surround yourself with more of those artists.
Right.
Sometimes it's okay to be compared to an artist, because guess what? If that artist has 5 million fans and your music is similar, maybe those 5 million people, maybe 3 million of those 5 million might also enjoy your music. So then you place yourself within the market near people who are doing something that is similar. Obviously, everybody's got their own unique thing, but something similar to what you are doing, because the adjacency matters.
And that is counter to what a lot of other people say. Right. So when you listen to other people give advice to independent artists, of course, you're talking about being authentic. You're talking about being, having originality, and they're always like, be different. Don't try to sound like somebody else.
Yeah.
And, but the reality is that you're going to sound like somebody.
Whether you like it
or not, you're going to sound like somebody. I mean, unless there's somebody out there that is going to fill an artistic space, a vocal
that just
space
doesn't exist.
that does not
That's
exist.
a rarity.
And that's rare. I mean,
if it happens, that's great. It's not saying that, saying go into the studio and try to be like somebody else, because
don't try to be like somebody else.
Right.
But if you end up sounding like somebody else, I don't think there's anything that is going to be detrimental for you to be able to, that you sound like somebody else.
Yeah. Hey, if somebody tells you sound like Prince, hey,
that's cool.
Hey, you might want to go with that. Not
cool.
saying trying to be Prince, but hey, wherever there's a fan of Prince, they may become a fan of you.
They may.
If you give them that opportunity. And I think that, trying to get creatives, artists specifically, to create community within their genre, within their vibe, within their sonics, it's the last thing that they want to do. But in reality, it's usually the best thing that they can do for their marketing. Because what does or can be considered organic is someone hearing something that sounds familiar to them and saying, I like that, versus you just paying for ads.
Which I hope you pay.
And actually,
may not even paying for ads.
Let me run that back, because actually, depending on who and where you run your ads with, they only run the ads according to you telling them specifically the genre and naming a couple artists your sound is similar to. They run the ads that way. That there's a reason for that.
There's a reason why, like if you go to, especially because I've been running a bunch of Instagram ads, and I mean, you got to define your audience in there, right? You got to actually tell it what countries you want.
Yeah.
There's some countries you can't advertise in because they're going to straight deny that thing, right? but you got to tell it your audience, and you literally got to go through and kind of define what your audience is. And so then they could target the right type of people. And of course, the less money you spend, the less that you are going to target that overall audience. But the more you spend, the more you're going to target that overall audience, right?
Yeah. And you might be like, oh yeah, they want to get to know me. No, they actually just want to know where to place
your
based on where they can find people who are looking for that kind of content.
That's right.
And so, yeah, having a website of your own, doing shows, those are absolutely ways to touch your true, authentic fans. So I felt like Lizzo's conversation was interweaving two different things. You start talking about the algorithm and all of that. You're not talking about your fans.
No, I mean, because it's the algorithm, as you said, it's not going to drive your fans. Your core fans are going to be people who are already tapped into you.
Yeah.
In some way, whether it's through your website, some type of platform, something. I hope you're using, and that's the thing I always tell independents, right? I was having this conversation with my wife earlier, talking about if you have Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, you have an audience on that platform, you should be figuring out how to capture their email addresses and things like that so you can keep in contact with them. You got to figure out how to, I'm going to use the word, my wife doesn't like this word, but deplatform them, right? Like, what's deep? deplatform them.
Right.
And because it just sounds weird. Like, how you going to? But deplatforming means that you're taking them off of
one
Instagram or whatever and taking them to your
and that's challenging.
Website.
That's someone who's truly got some interest in what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the person that's going to say, I want to really tap into who you are and what you have to offer. So I'm willing to only look for you, to only tap in with you. I'll see you on Instagram and all that. But if I really want to engage with, I'm going to go to wherever your Patreon or Substack or whatever that platform is. That your school is another one that I just found out about that I'm thinking about using for something else, but that's probably going to come in early 2026. But yeah, I mean, you gotta figure out what methods you're going to use to engage with the audience, the people who are already tapped into you, because that's the thing. Instagram goes down, TikTok goes down. Sure, they may be able to find you somewhere.
Yeah.
But how are you going to consistently engage with them and to drive new people?
Yeah.
Because that's what you want, new people into that community so that you can grow that community. Dude, I go to some people's Substack pages. I'm like, yo, how do you have an email newsletter, but you got 400,000 subscribers to your email newsletter?
Mm.
And then you go to their Instagram and they got 56,000 subscribers on Instagram, but you got 400,000 in your Substack.
Right.
And the beauty of something like Substack or Patreon is that you can have tiered membership.
Yeah.
They can,
that's right.
It's amazing.
That's right. You can,
and you should be doing that.
Pay for what their level of engagement is to your content. Absolutely. And you should always have more than one option.
That's right. More than one.
Always.
That's right.
Not just like, all right, it's $9.99 if you want to get in here.
and that's
it.
Like, I don't feel like paying $9.99.
Right. So give that $3.99. Go ahead and throw that $3.99.
Exactly. So like for We Create Music TV, if you want to be here's the ad right here, right? If you want to join the community and get access to exclusive content, we got 3 tiers.
We need to do this every show.
Every show. $2.99, $4.99, $9.99.
There you go.
Right? And if you want to get access to all of our master classes and special programs like Sync Masters and Sync Masters 2, which we're getting ready to start shooting as well, and all these other tutorials and stuff, you got access, but you got to be a member.
That's it.
That's it. That's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Man. But I mean, like I said, she wasn't saying anything that was new.
That was new.
But I think
like, hey, welcome to the
welcome to reality of independence.
Yeah.
But I think that the overall message, the thing that we just said, is figuring out, even if that is the case, how can you still build your own? I mean, you're going to have to do that some way, somehow. Independence, build your own platform so that you can drive your own engagement instead of,
depending on another platform.
Exactly.
To be your vehicle.
And so, speaking of another platform to be your vehicle, let's talk about Spotify. So Spotify came out with a new terms of, oh my gosh, have y'all seen this? So they came out with a new, let me just read the thing, right? Like, I got it right here. Let me just read it to you. Spotify has recently updated their terms of service, and it is raising alarms across the music community. A viral Instagram reel by Demiza, who I go listen to, right? He was the first one where I saw that, points out that under the new language, Spotify may reserve the right to train AI models using your music. The music you upload to Spotify, they can train their AI models on that music. Now, while Spotify does block third parties from scraping their platform for AI training, the fine print suggests that Spotify themselves, with their own AI-driven tools, will be able to do that. And the lack of transparency has left many questioning. Are artists unknowingly signing away new rights when they upload to streaming platforms? But that's not the only thing, though. It wasn't just AI. They're using language. I mean, you're pretty much literally, as Demiza put it, signing a contract. It is a business contract, irrevocable, in perpetuity. They could remix your stuff. There's so much that's in that terms of service that, and I always tell people, before you do something, go read the terms of service. especially in platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, your distributor of choice. I even tell producers, if you're going to use a software, read the terms of service, because they will tell you certain things in there that you can and can't do with the sounds from like Omnisphere or Serum or all these different things.
So this whole scenario is great, right? It's great. It's fantastic because it's twofold. There's two very important perspectives here. And I hate to be this guy, but
be the guy.
I'm this guy.
And be the other guy.
So the content creator who did the initial sort of breakdown of the terms of the agreement in regards to Spotify, did you see where he came back like 2 days later and retracted
the entire see that
thing? Okay, so here's the thing, everybody out here in the world. It's going to be very important as we go forward for all of my independents who are making, even if you're an entrepreneur, period. If you're making business plans using ChatGPT, if you are now downloading or copying and pasting information into ChatGPT and asking ChatGPT to give you an outline or a summary based on that information, all those things are great, right? AI is great. ChatGPT is great. However, at this juncture, it is the equivalent to the human itself. It makes mistakes.
It does.
Okay. Right. And so what happened was those terms of service are specific to users, not to artists. They are specific to the people who create playlists and that playlist being shared, of course, across the platform. If you create a playlist on Spotify, Spotify obviously has the right, terms of agreement are saying that they have the right to make that playlist available to everyone. But the way he explained it initially, it was like, they're going to take everything. It's all going to be,
pay you.
Yeah.
Right.
So he ended up coming back maybe a day or two later and saying, hey, sorry, I ran it through ChatGPT. I didn't read it all myself.
No, you got to.
And he said, I even ran it through there 3 times, allegedly. That's what he said. I don't know why you would run it through 3 times, but let's just pretend like he did. And he was like, and it gave, and this is what I said on my post was basically the summary of what ChatGPT came up with. And he was like, and it was incorrect in terms of stating that it was specific to the artists, but it was actually specific to the users. Now, Tiffany Red from 100%ers, she was getting flooded with DMs, emails, whatever, from people saying, oh, we about to have to turn up on Spotify. She comes on, she does a post. She's like, hey, guys, I know everybody's saying about that Spotify thing, but you might need to read the terms of agreement a little slower, because that's not actually what it says and not who it pertains to. So then after I saw that, then I saw his post where he came back and was like, my bad.
He said, my bad. I'm sorry.
But so I say that to say, everything you said in the lead up is correct. Read the terms. Because if you read the terms, then you don't need a guy on an Instagram page to tell you all the points that you missed off of a document that you didn't read. If he had read it, then he would have disseminated maybe not all of the information, because obviously ChatGPT is gonna do it faster and maybe even more thoroughly, but there would have been nuance in what he read that would have told him, hey, what I'm picking up and what ChatGPT is picking up is not really matching up. So maybe I should dig a little deeper before I do a whole post and incite a pandemonium to the point.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it is important to go read.
You gotta
read the terms of service for yourself. So here's
with anything though. I'm saying this is not just because, for example, I have people out here. We run a couple businesses. I have people out here applying for jobs and allowing ChatGPT to create their resume. Hey guys,
no sir.
Let me tell you something.
Do not do that.
Let me tell you guys something. You're not the only person that's ever asked ChatGPT to make their resume. So guess what? Now there's a whole lot of y'all who resumes have identical verbiage in them.
Yep.
And so when I'm the person that's hiring and I'm reading these resumes, they all sound the same because all y'all are lazy at
writing them in ChatGPT.
Nothing genuine, nothing authentic, and nothing that's nuanced. And currently, ChatGPT doesn't always pick up nuance. And so it ends up giving him a explanation of something that was probably accurate, but only to a certain degree. And he out here announcing it like he done did the work. And people trust him.
Of course.
Like he done broke it down. And now he gonna give everybody the highlights, and we need to run out and take action. And I'm sure people was probably off the rip like, see, that's why I don't mess with Spotify.
Spotify, man, I want to lead that.
Which is probably the right energy to have anyway towards Spotify.
Exactly.
But at least let it be based on actual factuals.
Exactly. Look, so I got the terms of service right here, right? I'm still reading because
it's a lot.
It's a lot in the terms of service.
I'm not gonna pretend like I read every single line. I'm a synopsis reader.
Me too. Me too.
Like if I get the gist of a paragraph, I don't need to read it.
I don't need the whole
verbatim.
Right.
No.
So I'm gonna look at it. There's some things I'm gonna read out of here because you should be reading the terms of service because it is your music. You're uploading music to this entity. Mm-hmm. So what rights are you granting this entity? And I'm reading the Spotify for Artists terms and conditions of use. So I'm gonna go all the way down to numbers. What number is it? No, that's that third party. I want the page that says rights you grant us, because boy, I was like, oh, here we go. It's under number 4, content and intellectual property rights. It says the content you post on Spotify for artists, right? So here's some of the things it says. I was like, oh man. So it says you and your subscribing entity are solely responsible for all user content that you post. So whatever your subscribing entity is, right? That could be the name of your organization, whatever name you chose when you are doing business, because that's literally what this is with Spotify. You are responsible for all the content that you post. You promise on behalf of Spotify, you promise on behalf of your subscribing entity that with respect to any user content you post on Spotify for Artists, 1, you own the rights to post such user content. Such user content is used by Spotify pursuant to the license granted below, which is a whole bunch of stuff. Right? It talks about what happens if you violate the terms of services. What happens? It talks about from publicity, privacy, personality, contract, and other rights of others, implying an affiliation with or
so can we talk about that real quick?
Yeah.
The important thing about that is, the important thing about that has been in the news recently as well, is the fact that people have been adding artists to their releases that are actually not part of the release. So for example, I could say that I have a song featuring Chris Brown, right? And under my company, the Ubuntu tribe, we released that. So then I can say, well, you can't hold me responsible for what Ubuntu tribe released. I ain't know they was going to say that Chris Brown was on my song. Chris Brown is not on there. But when you start talking about algorithm, this was how people were attempting to, or are attempting to defeat the algorithm. I don't have to wait for my name to be popping.
Right.
I'm going to add Chris Brown to my song, even though he's not actually on it.
Wow.
And then it's automatically going to become part of people's algorithmic playlist because now it's featuring Chris Brown.
That's right.
So the reason that it talks about you having the ability to upload and having the license for is because people were literally using image and likeness that was either not part of the work or that they did not have the rights to.
Wow. So
that's been in the news recently.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I want to read this whole part. It's a little bit. I want to read this whole part, ladies and gentlemen.
You might well read it. They're not going to read it. They're going to ask ChatGPT to read it.
ChatGPT to read it.
Yeah.
It talks about license that you grant us, Spotify, right?
Yeah.
You as an artist. Here's what you grant Spotify. So it tells you Spotify does not claim any ownership rights in the user content you post to Spotify for artists. After posting the user content to the service as between you and Spotify, you will continue to retain any rights that you may have in your user content, including any intellectual property rights or other proprietary rights associated with your user content, subject to the license you grant Spotify in the next paragraph of this section. That's where we get into it. By posting user content to the service, you, on behalf of your subscribing entity, grant Spotify a non-exclusive, transferable, sub-licensable, royalty-free, fully paid, worldwide license to reproduce, make available, perform, and display, translate, modify, create derivative works from, distribute, and otherwise use such user content through any medium, whether alone or in combination with other content or materials, in any manner and by any means, method, or technology, whether now known or hereafter created in connection with Spotify for Artists and Spotify Music Streaming Service, the promotion and marketing of Spotify for Artists and Spotify Music Streaming Service, and the promotion and marketing of Spotify for Artists and Spotify Music Streaming Service. If you do, it's kind of sound like the same thing, but if you do not want Spotify to use your user content for these purposes, you should not post user content to Spotify for Artists. To the extent you provide user content that contains your name, likeness, or photograph, you further grant us the non-exclusive, fully paid, worldwide right to use such name, likeness, and photograph of Spotify for Artists and Spotify Music Streaming Service, and in our marketing communication to advertise, market, and promote the availability of your user content on Spotify for Artists and Spotify Music Streaming Service, where applicable and to the extent permitted under applicable law. You also grant to waive and not enforce any more rights or equivalent rights, such as your right to be identified as the author of any user content, including feedback as defined below, and your right to object to derogatory treatment of such user content. If you provide ideas, suggestions, or other feedback in connection with your use of Spotify for Artists or any Spotify for Artists content, such feedback is not confidential and may be used by Spotify without restriction and without payment to you. Feedback is considered a type of user content under these terms. You also grant us the right to allow Spotify for Artists to use the processor, bandwidth, and storage hardware on your device in order to facilitate the operation of Spotify for Artists. Spotify respects the rights of intellectual property owners. If you believe that any Spotify for Artists content infringes on your copyright rights, please see the Spotify copyright policy. Sorry, that was long.
That was good.
That is good, though.
That was good, because I think that we have two different interpretations of what that means. So, so tell me, give me your interpretation of what they're talking about, because I just want to see if we on the same page.
Tell me. You tell me.
Okay.
Because
all right.
I'm out of breath.
I know, right? Let me give you an opportunity to catch your breath. All right. So, and I would love for somebody to tell me that I'm wrong, but this is how I interpret this. This is not about your music. This is about your content. And what I mean by that is, everybody who has Spotify artist page knows that you post pictures. You have the ability now to upload video. You have the ability to upload videos. So they make mention that the copyright and the intellectual property itself stays within the ownership of the person who it belongs to, which would be you or whoever uploads it. However, all of those other pieces of content that you upload they have the right to manipulate. So for example, let's say your song, and they've been doing this. Let's say you release your song, and on the week of your release, they then create a new release playlist. That new release playlist has your songs on it. It also has your picture, but it has a different background. That license right there is how they created that playlist based on your musical algorithm. B, how they used your image to create that new release graphic, and they altered your initial picture or your initial upload by changing the background and adding wording to it. They're giving themselves license to create all the things that they use internally to market. So let's say you're one of the hottest new R&B artists. Sometimes Spotify creates these picture collages, and the collage will have cover art from several different artists in there. In order to do that, that means that they had to manipulate the content from each one of those artists' page. This is how they gain the license, the right to do that. And it is altering, right? And so they do have to use that verbiage. It is, in a sense, gathering of information, because again, if you've ever released a song and you have a artist playlist, you have a songs that sound like playlist, and the way and when you see it, you're not thinking to yourself, "Hey man, they done jacked me for my." No, you like, yeah, look at me, wow, I'm on TV, mama. So you don't agree to those terms, you don't have access, or you are not given the opportunity to have those Spotify features used to promote you. They're just saying, yes, I want to use your pictures. Yes, I may even use something that you posted in a Spotify highlight reel. And are you gonna be mad when you see yourself in a highlight reel? Maybe if you uploaded some content that you really didn't like it when you uploaded it, but if you was excited about it when you uploaded it, you're gonna be excited when Spotify uses it. They're saying we need to be able to manipulate the things that you upload to this site for the betterment of our ability to market
the music that you upload, or the content that you uploaded.
Yes. Right. And if we got to come ask you every single time one of your songs does go viral or does fit within a genre, before we can edit your picture, before we can change the color of your background, before we can use you in a highlight, before we can make a playlist that's based on artists that sound like you, then we would rather not do business.
Yeah.
But I think that somebody else may read that and get something different
out of it, right? Because you may read it and go, oh, because my music is content. And so if my music is content, then you may...
They lead off by saying you retain the copyright.
Exactly.
But I know people gonna they're gonna be like, damn right, I retain the copyright, and then go to the part about being able to manipulate this and change this, and because they may highlight your song, which means they only gonna use a piece of it.
Which is why they use terminology, and that's the same that I got from it. Which is why they use terminology like name, likeness, and photograph.
Yes.
Because if you have a photo of you, they may use it in Artist of the Month.
Notice they kept saying in the artist, in your artist, what is it? I forgot the specific term, but it's the stuff that you upload to your artist profile.
Yeah, your Spotify for artist profile, right? So that's why they're using name and likeness and photograph. Because if they put together like the Artist of the Month compilation or the Indie Artist of the Month, and they use your photo, do they got to come and ask you permission to use your photo?
Right.
So you're automatically giving them the ability to do that.
Yes.
Worldwide.
Yes.
In any method, in any platform that they deem in order to be able to do this. So,
and in theory, you want that.
In theory, you want it. Right? In theory, you want it.
In theory, your music is on that platform because you want to be promoted, and it's a benefit that they're actually assisting in the promotion.
That's right. So Spotify says the content you post on Spotify for artists, you on behalf of your subscribing entity may post, upload, and otherwise contribute content to Spotify for artists. User content, right? That's what they put. For the avoidance of doubt, user content includes all information, materials, and other content that is added, created, uploaded, submitted, distributed, or posted to Spotify for artists by you, the user. Spotify and or any third party appointed by Spotify may, in its sole discretion, decide to use all or parts the metadata provided in connection with such user content, as well as to supplement and or replace such metadata. Then it goes on to give a whole bunch of stuff. You promise, and it just goes through a whole bunch of stuff until it talks about how you can take it down. But go read. I'm not reading this. This is not reading Rainbow. This or
look,
it's in a book. It's reading Rainbow. It's not that. Isn't that what LeVar? Isn't LeVar Burton?
Yeah.
He sit there and no, I'm not. I'm not reading all of this to y'all. Y'all can go and find the whole thing yourself.
But you're welcome because you did read that part.
I got that part.
We broke that down for him.
Right. Now I'm not an attorney.
I mean, I ain't saying skip that section. Right. I'm not an attorney either.
But you got to at least know what the terms of service is saying for you, individuals.
Yeah.
Music creators in it.
And that's where I think sometimes if you were to take excerpts like that, right, and run them through Chat GPT, I don't know that based on not having maybe a full perspective of what Spotify is, how it works, why it works, and how it benefits. I don't know that, again, this is the word that I am now using as my deactivator of Chat GPT is nuance. These systems,
that's right,
currently are still working to the point of having an understanding of nuance. What do I mean by nuance? I mean every situation has its different perspective, a different take, a different rhyme, a different reason. So there's no one broad brushstroke that's gonna paint you a clear picture. And ChatGPT in a lot of cases is trying to do that for you, which means it's missing nuance.
Yes. That's
how your man got caught up. You gotta go to his page and check that out.
Go check
he on
that,
right? I commented on it. I said a lot of people did, just basically saying we respect the fact that, we respect the fact that you came back and you circled the block and was like, my bad.
Yes.
But at the same time, I was like, my bad is great, but the better learning lesson is
to go do your due diligence in the beginning. Do your due diligence in the beginning so that you don't have to actually come back and do that.
Yeah. And don't tell me you ran through Chat GPT 3 times.
I don't. You know what?
That's like saying you watched it once, you watched it again, you watch. If the stain didn't come out the first time, you might want to try something different. Like he tried the same thing 3 times and
tied with stain.
If it didn't work, go get the bleach.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's a lesson for all of y'all too. You gotta go read it for yourself, right? Read it for yourself, and that way you can understand it. So I went through. Like I said, I'm still reading the terms and conditions because they're long.
It's a lot,
and it's a lot of stuff, right? And one of the things that I did is in my research, because I like to go research and I like to get multiple perspectives on certain things. Is if you want a summary, now something that's probably better to use is Notebook LM. Instead of Chat GPT, right? So take it and put it in Notebook LM. And what I love about Notebook LM is that Notebook LM is going to pretty much give you more accurate information. What the only thing Notebook LM is doing, if you ask it to do it, it's just summarizing what it is.
Yeah, it's highlighting.
That's it.
Specifics of it's breaking it down in a more consumable bites
That's
versus in its totality.
Yeah, it's just giving you a what's already in here, not anything else.
Yeah,
it took the terms of service and summarized just the terms of service.
Yeah,
that's it. So because ChatGPT will make mistakes, but you're right. Yes. People do use it because I was just teaching a career development class at my day job, right? In case y'all know, I do leadership and organizational development and all that stuff. So I've been doing a 7-part series on career development, how to interview, how to break down a resume, all that stuff. And I told them, do not use ChatGPT for writing. Don't put it in ChatGPT and say, rewrite my resume and use that. That's going to be they have software in their application tracking system that will automatically flag it when you put it into that system. It looks for that. And if it comes up, you're not going to get through it.
Yeah. Currently, currently I am that software. Yeah. I literally have seen enough resumes. I literally have 27 years of human characteristic studies experience to know how we would or would not word
certain things.
Yeah.
That's right.
How you speak about yourself in the first and third person.
That's right.
It's easy to think. ChatGPT's not there yet unless the prompter is there. You can obviously really dial in the prompting, but most times people who apply for these jobs or who are filling things out, they're just not. I won't say they don't know how. I will just say they are not executing at that level. And I think it's because they still think that it's new enough that everybody's not using it, so that they look slick. I literally had
everybody's using it.
Everybody's using it. I had a scenario just recently where doing promo, and I'm always specific about, for artists, ensuring that I'm working with writers of articles, blogs, trying to make genuine relationships with them. Listen to the music, give me your true feedback, that kind of thing. I dealt with somebody who I never dealt with before, and they gave me a paragraph of an identical synopsis of a artist project.
ChatGPT.
I was like, it's bad enough that the first person used ChatGPT, and then you came back and used the exact. So I could see the part above was different. The part below was different. That piece in the center, identical to the word. Guys, ChatGPT is giving us all the same information. If you do not have prompts built in or a relationship that you've built based on characteristics that you consistently show to your AI platform, that they then will almost start to pick up how you would speak or what you would say or what's needed for a certain scenario. Otherwise, all you guys is doing is copying and pasting the same stuff. And it's making you're trying to look smart, you're trying to save time. It's got you out here looking crazy. Chill out.
You're looking mad crazy.
You're looking crazy, B. Let the doodle hit the side of the bowl and roll in.
What does that even mean? Loud and do that, nigga. Like, what does that even mean?
Heavy. Your doodles mad heavy, baby. And you think ChatGPT is turning them down, but they not.
They not, bro. Y'all using ChatGPT out here looking mad crazy, bro.
Looking crazy.
Like, you can use it as a tool, but don't use it as the actual thing.
The thing.
Don't use it as a thing.
Yes.
Have it give you ideas that you can then mull around in your own brain and use and execute, but don't submit the actual documentation with that written directly from ChatGPT.
Yeah. Or if it's okay, tell me this, ChatGPT, it tells you that. And then you say to yourself, well, how would I say that?
Exactly.
And then make it the way you would say it. Don't say, that sound good. Send. Okay.
Send, email. Yeah. Send a proposal. Send that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no.
Application refused. That's what's happening. Left and right.
Left and right. Left
John
and right.
McEnroe. If your girl step up, I'm smacking her. I'm knocking them all down.
Smacking them down. Smacking them down.
What's next?
Shoot.
We wrapping up.
We wrapping it up. Shoot. I think that's it for this episode.
That was a meaty episode.
That was a meaty. Look.
Pause. Whoa. That's wild.
See, he's pausing everything, right?
Whoa.
Need a pause? Was that a pause that needed
absolutely
to say meaty?
Whoa.
Right? Beefy. Pause, son. Pause, B. Right? Yeah. But man, ladies and gentlemen, look, y'all go take that information, right? and do the things you need to do to be successful in your career. Read your terms of service, right?
Yes.
And figure out, let me go back. Read your terms of service for whatever it is you're using, whether it's software, a distributor,
Yes.
Spotify, whoever it may be. Make sure you know exactly what you're reading, and so that you can interpret, because you are a business. If you understand that philosophy, you understand that and have that mindset that you are a business, you're going to approach everything you do from a business perspective, right? You are a business. And figure out how to build your own community. I think that's one of the biggest things too. Figure out how to build your own community. Deplatform people from Instagram and TikTok. Those platforms are nice, but you want to have control over your community, your audience, your data.
Yes.
Right? You want control of that, not these other platforms. So, but man, y'all make sure y'all tune in to the next episode. So we out, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
Deuces.